Hey, what's going on, man? How's everyone doing out there? Hope everyone enjoying their weekend and their Sunday. Um, just want to make a little another video and kind of touch bases and just share because I think it's important now more than ever with all that we're going through. Um, just share how important it is to open up. I'll be a little honest, and this is all on the mental, all on keeping your mental right. That's where my focus is for the most part right now. But there's so much going on. It's hard to stay focused, and it's also hard to feel like you're making any progress with some of the things that you got going on. And that's what, in my opinion, that's one of the factors of what real depression is, for those going through it. And that's what I'm saying. I've been dealing with it. I've been going through it a lot more recently than I can imagine, or I can remember, especially in my adult life. Anyone that knows me knows that, and I've shared it numerous times. When I was 17, I was in the psychiatric unit for depression at Faulkner Hospital, and so with that experience, I learned how to talk and open up because in those facilities, that's how you get out. The more meetings you attend and the more you open up and you show progress, you're more likely to get out. At that age, I wanted nothing but to get out, even though it was, my doing that got me there. But it all started from being open on how I felt. That's how I got there. Then when I got there, you got to be a little more open, and that's how I got out. But the downside of that, which I've realized as an adult, is I learned how to bullshit. I learned how to kind of just talk away the, hey, how you doing? Or are you okay? You learn to say good and then bullshit. So essentially, there was a lot of good that it did, but it taught me how to bullshit, which was a negative because you move forward, and now at this age, which I go back to me feeling or dealing with it so much and more than I have in a long time, it's because anytime maybe anyone around me throughout these years or throughout some of these most recent months, people are, how you doing? You want to talk, and you just, no, don't want to be a burden. I'm doing good. Or in my personal situation, I feel like, maybe I've put up or I've been able to build this image to where, I can take care of it. I can take care of myself. Growing up, shout out to my pops. My pops got us to understand and believe, for better or worse, that it's a feeling, you'll get over it. So I take the lessons from him, the lessons from my time in the psychiatric unit, and I see how important it is to try to be as open and honest as possible, especially now, right? Especially now, and especially to people of color, to my black brothers, sisters, to my Hispanic brothers and sisters, to everybody in general. But right now, and what all that we are dealing with as black and brown people, caramel, if I may say so myself, but along with COVID, with coronavirus and all of that, and the daily experience of black people has been on full display over the last couple years now, really. And nobody should be satisfied with what we have been seeing. From racism in all forms, housing inequality, education, healthcare, then the matters of police brutality, the police brutality has begun to just play out in front of our eyes like the realest racist reality TV show you can ever imagine. And what it is a lot more is thrown in our face these days with camera phones, social media, everything. We just see a lot more with the news cycle being as crazy as it is, and with everybody gunning for clicks, not necessarily the correct story or positive stuff. A lot of negative images is just tossed at you and it gets you going. So when you take all of that, it's a lot to deal with. Plus, back to the coronavirus, to where you may have lost your job, your kids have been out of school, now you're working from home if you still have a job, plus you also got to play teacher. Now we're at the spot where our kids are going back. Now you got to make that decision, how you feel about it. It's a lot, you know what I mean? And I feel like there is no way in the world, honestly, that we can even begin to deal with all of those things, let alone be successful at dealing with those things or overcome those things without taking care of ourselves, without taking care of each other. You know what I mean? From the pain, from the anger, stress, sadness, you know, it from feeling like you're not doing enough, from not knowing what to do. You know, you watch all these things play out. You want to get to protest. You may not be able to. You want to donate. You may not be able to. You know, you just want to do something. But we can't really put ourselves out there to start fighting all these battles if we ain't even taking care of inside. You know what I mean? Taking care of your mind. And it might sound corny, cliche, whatever, but it is what it is. And I'm thinking about like, and you know, I'm focused on it. So I one of my homies, and I love him to death, one of my brothers, he had posted something recently where he said it was a meme or whatever. He posted, and it was something to the effect of, black men need therapy, not a call from the homies. You know, which is true. I mean, I don't think all black men need therapy, but you know, you get the point of it. You know, and to each his own. And I've benefited. I've had therapy. When I got out of the hospital, I had outpatient therapy. I had to go see a therapist when I was a teenager. And yes, this is true. Black men in America, maybe across the world, could benefit from therapy. But we can't overlook or underestimate the effect of a call from one of the homies. Not necessarily as specific as one of the homies, but, you know, a friend, just somebody, you know, just a convo. We can't underestimate what that can do because all people, all situations are different. So, yes, therapy is needed. But when we go back to some of the stress that we're facing, some of the issues that we're facing, especially, you know, with inequality, racial inequality, and you know, fighting a fucking uphill battle, I mentioned healthcare. Right? Finances. So a lot of us don't even have access to the proper therapy. You know, a lot of us, the insurance aspect. So then that creates more of the stress on the financial level, even if you do get to it, right? Because then it becomes a bill, which now it's a crazy cycle because now you're going to see a therapist and you're you know for mental stress, and which finances could be a part of that, but then now that session turns into a bill which creates more stress and blah blah, you know. So you see what it can do. And that's if you have the benefit of even getting therapy. If your insurance not right or just whatever, there's so many things that cannot allow that to happen. Before you even set or look at the comfort level, you know, once you get to a therapist, it's hard to open up to somebody that doesn't necessarily look like you. And you don't need them to look exactly like you, but at least relate to where you're coming from. It's hard, and trust me, my therapist, shout out to Mitch, it was so long ago, but he was a white guy. You know what I mean? I remember he used to call weed sauce. Danny, how you doing with the sauce, man? And because I'm, you know, always been open about that. But that's what, at the end of the day, especially as a 17-year-old, and you know what I was doing at that time, I couldn't connect with him, you know, and which also led to me just stop showing up to those appointments. So if you even have the benefit of making it to therapy, affording therapy to where it's not, you know, causing more stress, doesn't become a burden, then you have to get there and connect with the person. And that might not happen, you know. So you can't underestimate the call, reaching out, but that doesn't happen unless you're open and honest. And, you know, that's where I had to look in the mirror with myself, because like I said, yeah, I felt like I learned how to deal with depression or some of them, the mental stress or whatever. But, one that doesn't, I'm not immune to dealing with it. And then two, you take advantage of that, and you can manipulate what I learned in there to just, like I said, to just talk it off and kind of, put the wall up and get people to kind of forget about me because I can talk, you know what I mean? And hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. And then I just put up the image to where, for outside looking in, you may think that, every day is a good day for him, which, I try to put it out there. That's not necessarily the fact. I'm more eager to, especially on like social media, highlight positive stuff, but especially right now it's so hard because, like I said, every day is a battle. Me personally, every day is a battle for me on speaking up and letting some things off of my chest and venting. It's a battle between that or just shutting the fuck up, because I don't want to bother anybody. One, nobody asked for my opinion. I don't think that highly of myself to just say, well, let me go share how I feel people should deal with that. You know what I mean? No one asked, even this video, it's hard to do. No one asked me for it. But I know it may benefit. I know, one of the cliche sayings, if it reach one person and it connect with one person, then we ride out for that. And that means a lot. Coming up, trying to be an artist, trying to be a rapper, you go into the shows and whatever. You got to learn to appreciate those early shows where it might be 5 people, might be 5 people, might be 50. But you reach that one, it's solid, and you got to learn to appreciate that. So I carry that into this. And as uncomfortable as it is to make videos like this, or to talk about the mental part of it, I feel like I'm prepared to, and going to, and you gotta put yourself in uncomfortable situations sometimes to make progress. So that's what I do here, or what I'm trying to do. But to get back to the whole point, you gotta be open and honest. So you gotta be able to, one, look yourself in the mirror, recognize your flaws, be able to kind of dissect and take outside opinions on things you should work on. If we got people around us that, if we're not being open and honest with how we progressing, if you got people around you that's just gonna, yes man and salute everything you do and not highlight, any flaws or any missteps or mistakes, then, we're not learning, in my opinion. I want people around me that's gonna help me grow. I don't want people that's gonna, keep me where I'm at. Let's grow and let's move forward and let's change some shit. So unless you're able to look yourself in the mirror, recognize your flaws, start to work on them, which that may include outside assistance, and then now you develop some of the tools essential to fight in this battle and to take care of yourself. And from there, the pride has to go, the ego has to go. And going back to the reaching out, I read in a book, right? I read if you're able to start to begin to work on your flaws and work on your mental and do what's needed, right? I read in a book, Break Through Your BS, written by Derek Depler. And there was a part in the book, it just briefly, it mentioned that if you put yourself on the path to be a good person, you have to understand and accept, in a way, essentially, you're not the only person on that path. Somebody else, those around you, may be on their own path to being a better person. So, you're trying to be a better person. One of your ideas of being a better person is not asking for too much, not being a burden on people. So, you're around somebody else, and whether it's advice they're trying to give to you, or they offer you something. Let's say they offer you a meal. You don't want to be a burden, you say no. We don't know that person's situation, and this is hard. We really can't sit down and try to break down what everybody's going through around us, but we don't know that person's situation, and maybe that person's goal on that day was to give away a meal or to go out and help somebody. And you were the person that he tried to help, he or she, and you declined. And that made that person feel a certain way, probably lower than where they were when they offered the meal or what their intentions were. Even if it was a selfish act, they want to help somebody so they can feel better about themselves. But anyway, a person aiming to be better offers you a meal, you turn it down because you're trying to be better, so you don't want to burden them with taking. And you see where we at? So it goes with the convo and me learning to bullshit. Somebody trying to reach out to me and I'm just brushing it off, I'm good, and I'm not giving them the opportunity to maybe connect and have that deep convo that I in turn end up seeking somewhere down the road. And because personally, that's where I've been. You seek it and I haven't got it. And then I know what that person feels like now because it hurts. So you got to be able to be honest and open. I stress those words. You hear that shit all the time. And let the guard down, throw the ego out, and we got to connect. We got to reach each other because there's so many issues going on, so many things we face with that if we don't begin to at least tackle some of this stuff and approach it the right way, we're going to leave things fucked up for our kids. And I got 2 sons. I'm trying to raise 2 sons in a hard time right now, but I'm not the only one, so we in this shit together. And I say all of that to say that, I keep stressing, let's connect, let's reach out when needed, but be real about it. You know what I mean? Understand that, one, everybody got shit to deal with. Everybody's going through something. You're not the only one. But again, you're not the only one. So, and one thing I gotta realize too, and this is another thing that I'll say in terms of, trying to reach out. Figure out your way of reaching out. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to expect everybody to be able to talk. I learned that, and I just like to talk to people. But that doesn't work for everybody. So if you find your way, or you have to find like a comfort zone. Whatever way you use to get your mind right. Hopefully it's not like crazy drugs, you know what I'm saying? But my pops, he uses work. My pops stays working. I use writing, music. Music is everything to me. But yeah, writing, music, read a little bit. I walk. Going on little morning walks, especially now, I recognize all the faces, everybody, I see everybody out there walking, and I don't walk for health, for like my physical health. It is great. It does, it's good cardio, but walking every morning is for my mental. And so you got to find a comfortable way for you. It may not be talking. Some people use whatever, poetry and art. But whatever way you use to put yourself in a comfort zone to be able to kind of vent and open up a little bit and just get an understanding that shit ain't all right. You may not have all the answers. That's one of the difficult things for me is when I don't have all the answers. I can't fix everything, especially, if it's not fucking made out of wood. It's hard when I can't fix it. But you find a way that's comfortable. My wife and I, we talk about this. Or, we find ways to communicate about this because we're different in that department. She's not as open to talking about these things as I am. So we find our own ways, and we go through it at times for that. We don't argue, but trying to find, that's what I mean. There's been times where I literally need to talk about stuff, and I don't want to burden her. And then you start that cycle. So I don't want to bring it up to her, and especially if she, I don't want her feeling awkward and trying to deal with something that she may not, be able to deal with. I don't want to put that pressure on her, and that goes to overthinking shit. But so you find ways to communicate. So we have our own little ways, and that's what I mean. Find your own way. Not everybody can sit there and talk on the phone or whatever. Maybe a text might be more comfortable. But we got to be able to help each other out. Get your mental right. Get your mind right, please. and reach out when needed. We're losing a lot of people. And it can go in so many areas to how successful or how much of a benefit it could be, because you never know when you're catching somebody. So all right, I don't want to share this as some like badge of honor or something that make me ill, but a couple years ago I had switched my phone number. The number I switched to, 781 number, was a number to a dude named Anthony. And he lived over in Somerville, and I lived in Medford, so not that far off. So when I switched over to this number, for months, maybe even years actually, on everything, years, I kept getting calls, texts for this dude Anthony. And then, it got to the point where I'm not trying to be an ass to everybody or a dick. So, my response would be cordial. Hey, this is not Anthony's number no more, blah, blah, blah. And so I would get calls about it. And one night, I had a call at like 2 a.m. I answer it, whatever. Hey, I speak to Anthony. And, like wrong number, same spiel I given everybody now. But I don't remember exactly what it is, but something kept me on the phone with this person. And then they started just opening up. And essentially, this person was about to commit suicide. This person was having a bad time at life. They were reaching out to Ant to just open up, someone to talk to. I think they live near each other or whatever, but I sat on the phone for like 2.5 hours with this person on my kids. And I don't, all I know was for that day, that person didn't do what they was going to do. And you never know when that convo going to work. So it was 2 a.m. I didn't know the person. I could have just went back to sleep. I'm not saying for everyone to do this, but there was something that kept us on the phone, something that, allowed me to open up to this person and let them open up to me and receive what they were trying to give me, and they opened up, you know what I mean? And so don't always overthink it. Don't always worry about being a burden. Sometimes you really just gotta let go, open up. Find a way that's comfortable for you, and then move forward. Because I promise you, we're seeing everything. We're seeing things every day that it's damaging, it's hurtful, it's harmful. And if you don't deal with it, if you just really just bottle all of that up, the other side of that is not good. It's not positive, because you keep all of that in, we're gonna snap. We're gonna, you know what I mean? And so if I can do anything to prevent that, because I know what it leads to. I know if I keep everything in, I'm gonna lose my temper at some time, and then no. So we're too old for that. You know what I mean? And so that's all this is, man. This is just another way of me trying to step out of my comfort zone to be open with y'all, share. I'm going through it too. I know y'all are going through it. You watch the news, it puts you in a mood. You read the paper, but you scroll and get the news, it puts you in the, you know what I mean? And then you see the posts from your friends and everybody hate each other, and it's a hard time right now. So that's why I can't stress it enough. Reach out, open up, get your mind right, because we need to all be involved in how we're going to fix this shit, because it ain't right. And, try to start your days off as much as possible. Try to start your days off in a positive light. And I'm not saying kumbaya type positive, but if my pops, I'm trying to get my pops off of getting up every day and then turning on CNN or Fox News, that ends up putting him in a mood to where now you're setting your day off with that energy. So that's another thing we hear a lot of. Keep your energy right. Honestly, keep your energy right. If getting on social media every day, the first thing in the morning, leads to you seeing some posts that's going to have you angry, and then, checking people, because that's where I end up every morning. I was at that. Scrolling to wait for one of them magas or one of them, y'all know where I'm at with it, one of them, and just jump in the comment section. And now now my whole energy is fucked up, and off balance because of, you know, someone else, and I don't want nobody to have that power over me. Too competitive. So get your mind right. Stay away from the things that's going to get you in the negative energy. You know, master your energy enough to where you see some of those things, and you know what I mean, it can't even phase you, because that's really the only way we're going to be able to overcome some of this crap. If we go in to try to be successful at dealing with some of these people, they waiting for us to reach that boiling point. And right now they're going to do everything they can to get us to reach that boiling point. That man in office is doing everything he can, tweet, say, whatever, to get us to the boiling point. Get your mind right so our boiling point look different, because that, you know, that's the way. I would love to sit there and just be able to knock everybody out, but I'm only 5'8", you know, about 185, so I'm only going to get so far with that anyway. And, you know, it's just, let's change the approach. Let's not do what they're waiting for us to do, and that way we can be successful at this, and we can see some fucking real change, because I feel y'all, and it's hurtful, and you know, but let's do it. So reach out. I'll say it again, reach out, be open, be honest, find a way that's comfortable for you, and get your mind right. I love y'all. Y'all take care. X out. Shout out to X Academy for the shirt. Shout out to Dash for the artwork in the back. And yeah, man, y'all take care.